Good morning, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Monday, September 9th, 2019. Executive Officer.
Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Caloza. President Pro Tem Davis, you do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. Hector Banuelos, Bureau of Street Services.
Hee-Sang Kim from Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning. Brad Jensen, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning. John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ted. Oh, sorry.
Good morning, Asad Al-Najjar, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Now I'll go. Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President Pro Tem Davis, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comments section. We did receive 3 speaker cards on item number 3 for today's agenda.
Okay, hearing no and seeing no speaker cards on general public comment and under Neighborhood Council commentary, that leads us to our first item on the agenda, and I would like to first take item 4 under administrative items. The Mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Sanitation to execute a memorandum of agreement between the City and the Los Angeles Gateway Region Integrated Regional Water Management Joint Power Authority for cost sharing for the installation of the monitoring equipment and monitoring activities pursuant to the Harbor Toxic Pollutants Total Maximum Daily Load and the 2012 National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System Permit for a total cost of $54,110.40 over a term of 5 years, retroactive from July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2023. Can we have a motion to accept? Okay. Okay, you want to move? Okay, and I'll second that motion. Any questions? Okay, that motion will be moved forthwith.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Just for clarity also on the public comments and also the Neighborhood Council commentary, would you like to close those sessions at this time?
Yes, please close.
Thank you very much.
Moved. Yes. I want to go now to item 1 on your agenda. Let's see. And this is an above-ground facilities variance at 701 South Vermont Avenue, recommending that the board approve the request for a variance from the height requirement of the above-ground facilities ordinance per Los Angeles Municipal Code Section 62.08 VB for the monopole and to authorize mobility to install a 39-foot high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 701 South Vermont Avenue. Staff reporting is Ramsey Sawaya. Is that correct?
Correct. Good morning. Ramsey Sawaya with Bureau of Engineering. Mobility has requested a variance from the above-ground facilities ordinance for height limitation to install a 39 feet high wood monopole adjacent to 701 South Vermont for the purpose to mount wireless telecommunication antennas. The Bureau of Engineering's review of this AGF application found the site to be compliant with the AGF ordinance for the following reasons. 1, the design of the proposed wood monopole is consistent with the surrounding wood utility poles in height and appearance. The antennas will be painted brown to further blend in with the pole. 2, the pole height is necessary for the facility to transmit the signal on a line of sight technology. The applicant has claimed that there is no other financially or technically acceptable alternatives that exist and meet the requirements of the AGF ordinance. The existing utility poles in the area are not suitable for co-location. BSL recommended mobility to install a new street lighting pole in lieu of the wood monopole, but the applicant has stated that this alternative is financially infeasible. 3, the proposed installation was approved by Cultural Affairs Commission. The property owners of the abutting, adjacent, and across lots, as well as Council District 10 and Wilshire Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council were notified twice, one by the applicant and one by the Bureau of Engineering. We have not received any response from either party.
And you said we did have the support of Council District 10 as well?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioners, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Ramsey, for your presentation. Thank you, President Pro Tem. Question, just to be clear, this design was submitted before we approved our aesthetic policy?
That was, yes, that was submitted because our policy was in effect April, I believe April 3rd. This application was March 1st, 2018.
Okay.
So the new aesthetic policy does not apply to it.
And just another question. I also saw in the picture that there's a small AGF meter pedestal right next to it, or just a little bit. Is that something that is now coming along with the monopoles?
It's going to be constructed on the monopole, but this application is only for the variance,
Okay.
for the height variance.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns on item 1? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Caloza. I'll second that motion, and so ordered. Thank you. Forthwith. Next, we'll have item number 2, task order solicitation number 050A, Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated, Telfair Avenue Multimodal Bridge over Pacoima Wash Project, recommending that the board, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue the task to Kimley Horn from the pre-qualified on-call design and support services consultants list to provide preliminary design and environmental documentation services for the project as stated in task order solicitation number 050A with a budget authority of $395,998, including contingency, WOE 7005004D, C-1249848. Presenting is Shirley Lau. Thank you, Shirley.
Good morning. Shirley Lau with the Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Division. This report before you today, this task is for a new bridge. It's a new pedestrian bicycle bridge along Telfair Avenue. It will connect the communities currently separated by the Pacoima Wash, and it will provide direct access to future El Dorado Park. This bridge is located in the East San Fernando Valley and will be built to improve public safety and provide non-motorized accessibility. Estimated project completion date is June 2023. This project is in Council District 7. We do have a Council District 7 representative, Felicia Orozco, in the audience here. Their office is very supportive of the project. Purpose of this task is to initiate the design phase of the project. We will conduct environmental studies, preliminary design and engineering, right-of-way research, utility investigation, and also public outreach as needed for the environmental document. City of LA, Bureau of Engineering, we solicited cost proposals to all 10 pre-qualified on-call consulting firms that are on the current list. 3 firms responded. BOE staff reviewed the proposals, qualifications, and the experience of the firms, and we determined that Kimley Horn demonstrated the most comprehensive understanding of the project. BOE did request explanations from the firms who did not respond, and several firms said that they have reached their budget authority for the contract, and others said that they lack necessary resources to provide the requested services. BOE recommends acceptance of Kimley Horn's negotiated proposal of $359,998, and with a contingency of $36,000, so the total budget authority will be $395,998. This project is funded by Measure M Local Return Special Fund. There are no federal funds involved in the project, but our PQOC contract between the city and Kimley Horn follows the U.S. Department of Transportation requirements for disadvantaged business enterprise participation. The city has set that goal to be 6.01 for the contract. However, for this particular task, Kimley Horn is pledging DBE participation of 40.40%. There is no fiscal impact to the general fund. It will be fully funded from Measure M Local Return Special Fund for this project. The Bureau requests that the board approve the recommendations set forth in this report so that the project can move forward. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Sure. I want to say that certainly the vision of the prime is much appreciated in terms of inclusion. Any questions, concerns, commissioners? Hearing none, can I receive a second to my motion to accept? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I stand corrected. Commissioner Garcia moves and Commissioner Caloza seconds. Item number 2, and so ordered forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Law. Item number 3. Tree removal, 235 North Hoover Street. Recommending that the board, 1, find under California Public Resources Code Section 21166 and the state's Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, Guidelines Section 15162 on the basis of substantial evidence contained in the whole record that since the city's prior certification of mitigated negative declaration, case number Environmental Code, I guess that is 215-3940 MND, there have been no charges to the project, no changes to the project, changes with respect to the circumstances under which the project is being undertaken, or new information of substantial importance concerning the project, which cause new significant environmental effects or substantial increase in the severity or of previously identified significant effects, and therefore no subsequent MND, supplemental MND, or other analysis is required for the project. 2, specify that the Board of Street Services, Streets LA, Urban Forestry Division located at 1149 South Broadway is custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. 3, approve the request for a fee removal permit to remove 12 trees, which include 6 Canary Island date palm, Phoenix canarius, whatever that correct name is, and 2 Mexican fan palm, Washington robusta, and 1, you may have to help me with this one, pittosporum, and Brazilian pepper, and weeping fig trees, 2 weeping fig trees. Tree replacements are required. And 4, concur with Streets LA determination that the site cannot feasibly accommodate all of the required replacement trees, and pursuant to Los Angeles Municipal Code 62.177C, authorize the tree replacement guarantee fee to satisfy the board's tree planting requirement. And we have 2 items, 2 speakers on the item, on item number 3. And Susan Hunter.
President Pro Tem, we do have 2 speakers against the item, and then we also have 3 additional speaker cards just for the record from the applicant and their representation as well.
Correct.
Just want to make sure that's on your radar.
Of which Susan Hunter is one who's against. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Susan Hunter. I'm with the Coalition to Preserve Los Angeles. I'm here today because the issue is not the project. The issue is that at no point in time have the MNDs ever covered the median itself. So we did soil sampling and testing of the soil at the median and have determined that the soil is contaminated. There are multiple contaminants, but the biggest concerns are the arsenic and the lead. And there's a concern that if the trees in the soil are disturbed, that contaminant could impact the health of the people in the community. The MND for the project says that they went out and did a visual inspection to look for contamination on the project site and didn't see anything. We actually did soil sampling on the median and are saying that there are contaminants and there are concerns about the safety of removal and disturbing of the soil on that median and what the possible contamination could be for the rest of the community as well if you were to disturb also the surrounding soils. So what we're saying is that if in fact there has been so much soil sampling and testing and lab work done to prove that there is no kind of contamination from the previous hospital usage, which the contamination actually came from burning hazmat materials in the past before we had hazmat standards for disposal of hospital materials. So in the past, they would just burn everything, and the incendiaries would float around in the neighborhood. So we're concerned that by disturbing the soil, we're going to potentially cause a risk to the health of the community. If this board feels that their findings prove that there is absolutely no risk to the community whatsoever, then we ask that the board hold a community hearing to address this. Because it's not fair to ask a community to come down at 10 a.m. on a Monday when they have to work and they're concerned about their health risks. So if you genuinely feel that there is no concern of any risk of contamination to the neighborhood by disturbing these trees, come out to the community. Let us know. Don't leave it up to the developer. They have not been transparent. They have left phone numbers where they cannot be reached at. So we're asking that the city step up and do the right thing in this case. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And next we have Robert Husby?
Herbst, H-E-R-B-S-T.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. As a resident of this neighborhood, I oppose the removal of the trees on the grounds that it further moves along Pinnacle 360's plan to close off a street for their purposes, leaving all of the neighborhood out. The residents of the area have not been informed as to how they will access their homes during the reconstruction of the street, which is being preceded by the removal of these trees. Literally, these streets, sidewalks, and parking spaces will be removed as a consequence of the trees removal, and the developer nor the city have presented to us how we will be dealing with the removal of the way to access our homes. Just in addition, the removal of these trees and the median itself destroys a vital element of the character of the neighborhood and the character of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have three individuals who will speak if needed, and with that, we'll have Mr. Hector Benuelos who will present.
Yes, good morning, Mr. President Pro Tem, Dr. Davis, and board. What we have before us is a request for the removal of 12 trees for construction of a multi-unit or 6-story, 221-unit residential condominium project at 235 North Hoover Street. There are 12 trees, well, there were 12 trees here. However, 3 canary island pine trees were assumed to be in the public, or assumed to be in private property. They were growing above a 4-foot to 6-foot high retaining wall that was directly adjacent to the roadway. And it was assumed they were on private property when they were doing the demolition of what was a community hospital there at one time. It has now been demolished, and so 3 trees were demolished in addition to the hospital. And there was also one other weeping fig tree that was growing on the adjacent Council Street, which was removed inadvertently by a contractor when they were doing the demolition. Apparently a truck ran into the tree and then it was subsequently removed. But currently there are, when our street services inspectors went out and investigated the location, they revealed that there were several trees growing on Council Street side, which only 2 are being removed for a proposed driveway and also for a LADWP, Department of Water and Power vault that needs to be installed on the property to provide power to the proposed project. There are another 6 trees that are located in what is determined as the unimproved median. It's just kind of a mix of trees and shrubs and weeds and plant material that are on this sloped median on Hoover Street. The 6 trees were planted, not really sure how they got there, but they're there. There are 2 Canary Island pines, or excuse me, 2 Canary Island palm trees. There are 1 Mexican fan palm, there is a pittosporum, a weeping fig, and a it appears to be that is 6 trees there. They're going to be removed because the contractor is required to build, or the developer has a requirement to build. The Department of City has imposed conditions, or actually the Bureau of Engineering has imposed conditions for the developer to improve Hoover Street, which is actually it's kind of a roundabout, one way for each way, circling around the median. It's off-grade, it's kind of a sloped median, and so they're going to merge that roadway into one, and including the construction of a cul-de-sac in the end. So when it's all said and done, it's all going to be one roadway there along Hoover Street. That's abutting the project. So the Bureau of the Street Services did review their project mitigated negative declaration, and it appears that the trees removals are properly addressed within the negative declaration. And if approved, the developer will be required to plant 16 trees on there. And there's only room to feasibly plant 16 trees, and the other 12 trees will be, the developer will be required to plant the tree planting guarantee fee. Towards that, there's a 2-to-1 replacement on the trees. The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, the Community Forestry Advisory Committee, and the Council Office were informed of the tree removal permit request. The Council Office is in support of the project and of the tree removals and has no opposition to the project. Any questions?
Okay. Yeah, my question is, today we did have some concern about the project from, I would think, our constituents in the area. Obviously, based upon your testimony, that was not made prior to this presentation. I'm not aware that the council office is aware as well about the presentation we just had, that there was some opposition. And additionally, a request that we do outreach to constituents in the area, which obviously would certainly concern the council office. And I am unaware, and my question is, was there outreach that you're aware of to the neighborhood in the affected area about this particular project of removing trees?
There was notification about the tree removals to the council office, the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and to the Community Forestry Advisory Committee.
I see. Okay. For which we received at that time no negative response, as you have testified, correct?
Not from the council office, and I'm unaware of the neighborhood giving a negative response outside of Ms. Hunter's concerns.
Okay. We had 2 individuals who testified before us. I have a concern also from Commissioner Garcia with regard to this item, and Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you. I just want to address one of the concerns that the constituents brought up. First of all, when is this project supposed to get started? When is the whole construction and removal of trees supposed to get started?
That I don't know. We have some representatives from the developer here, and perhaps maybe they can better address that question.
Okay. Well, my concern is, one of the concerns that was brought up is that we haven't notified or gave them any instructions on how they will access their home while construction or the removal of the trees would happen. Do we have a plan for that?
No, the city is not removing the trees. It's the applicant.
Does he have a plan for the rest of the constituents to access their home while the tree removal is happening?
I'm unaware of the plan. I don't know of the plan. I'm sure they have a plan. I just don't know what the plan is.
Maybe they can come up and explain the plan to the rest of the constituencies that are here.
We have, is it Jody Minson? Is that correct? Okay, from David Evans and Associates.
As part of the process, Jody Minson with David Evans, and as part of the process, we have already gone through plan check review and have an approved traffic control plan with DOT. That was also reviewed and approved by the council district office. So all the houses fronting Hoover will still have access to their house. We're not taking away any access. And we also kept as much street parking. The majority of the street parking is also staying because that was an important thing to provide for the neighbors that they wouldn't take away.
Were they notified by paper, or was it just a meeting and that was the conclusion, but we haven't done our public notification for
the
that?
traffic control plan?
Yes. Oh, and also an advisement of when it's going to get started.
Hi, Commissioners. Tina Choi, speaking on the issue of public outreach and information. So we've been working with the immediate neighborhood council for over a year and a half. We have a support letter that was issued by that neighborhood council, and ongoing we are working with the chair of the Planning and Land Use Committee to update on our construction timeline. We've met with her and worked out on-site mitigation measures when the building was demoed. So there's been ongoing outreach with the neighborhood council as well as the council office on updates and information about what's going on the site, safety and security. We met about 3 times on site with CD13 and the LAPD senior lead officer to make sure that the site is safe. And so moving forward, we will continue the distribution of ongoing updated information about construction schedules. You obviously heard from our civil engineer that we are not going to be restricting any access to the residents. So all of that updated information will be continuously forwarded to the neighborhood council for them to then forward to all the stakeholders. We, in addition, hired an outreach company called Consensus Planning. To date, we've spent closely to about $75,000 on outreach. They've actually set up an 800 number. We've met with the resident, Robbie. Susan Hunter doesn't live in this neighborhood, but with Robbie and the adjacent neighbors, we've met with them, I think, over, I would say about 8 times, either on site or in private meetings, to let them know that this information by way of consensus planning would be available on their website as we move forward in construction. So we have every intent to make sure that we continuously work with the neighborhood council and the immediate residents, either through directly the distribution of information through the neighborhood council or by way of our outreach consulting company that we hired, Consensus Planning, to make sure that real-time info is given. Secondly, one of the issues, I'm going to hand the neighborhood council support letter. We fulfilled pretty much all of their conditions and concerns and requirements. One of the things that they asked us to do early on is to arrange for off-site construction worker parking. It's one of the things that we're very sensitive about to not impact resident parking currently on the street. So we've actually secured off-site construction parking, completely voluntary, to make sure that all of our construction workers are prohibited from parking on the residential street and will be required to park on that off-site street. So we're very sensitive to these neighbors. Again, as I said, we've been working with them since 2017. Susan Hunter did appeal this project on 3 different occasions. And before the Citywide Planning Commission, we got a unanimous vote of support to overturn her appeal. And we're very excited to move forward on this project for the housing units, which are rental, not condo, just by the way, and delivering 19 very low affordable units. Just for the commissioners to know, this hospital was abandoned in 2014 because of very substandard building and safety and structural code requirements that could not be satisfied to renovate the hospital. And since then, the LAPD walk with Council District 13 staff and myself, this abandoned building basically was a huge significant public safety issue. We had homeless break-ins, we had methadone users. We actually had a family living in the basement for over 8 months with a 4-year-old child that the LAPD never even knew were under this building. So when this project came forward, CD13, LAPD, and the vested valid members of the neighborhood council were really encouraged to see this building be replaced and the site secured, and then obviously bringing some very needed housing project. So I just wanted to give you that context because I know Dr. Davis, you and some of the commissioners had some background info on what kind of outreach was done. So I just wanted to convey that comprehensive debrief to you.
Thank you very much for that.
When do you anticipate getting started?
This month, and I can actually have our construction point person come up and give you more of a vetted timeline of what kind of activities we're looking at.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Colosa.
And maybe this is a question for Streets LA, but can you just kind of state a little bit again just the process and what approvals this project went through in order to get to the board? I know that I think Tina, her name was, that one of the representatives from the applicant stated a little bit about having come from the Planning Commission already.
Are you asking about the mitigated negative declaration?
Or no, I was just asking what approvals you already had to get from either different boards or commissions before getting to the Board of Public Works. Because she mentioned you guys received approval, and maybe this is a better question for you, Tina, right? Tina, what different boards or commissions have you gone through already in terms of the process, if you can explain that a little bit more? Sure.
Morning, board members. For the record, Dave Rand with Armbruster, Goldsmith, and Delvec here on behalf of the applicant, Laterra Development. The project has been through an extensive 3-year entitlement process. To build this project, a series of entitlements were required, a vesting tentative track map, site plan review, density bonus approvals. So we first received approvals from the advisory agency on the map and the director of city planning. Those were appealed to the City Planning Commission. We had a full hearing before the CPC. The CPC rejected the appeal and approved the project. The approvals were then subsequently appealed to the full City Council. City Council again denied the appeals, approved the project, and this is our last step of the process.
And then just to clarify, was the appeal again just around the soil contamination?
Ms. Hunter appealed the project on numerous grounds. The contamination was a part of all of her appeals along the way. The MND, the CEQA document that was prepared for the project, thoroughly analyzed the potential for contaminants on the property resulting from the prior hospital use. A Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental analysis were both prepared. There were direct soil samplings, borings, invasive subsurface testing of the property, notwithstanding Ms. Hunter's comments. That's all part of the environmental record. And at each opportunity, the appropriate governing body rejected the notion that this property is contaminated to the point that it would present a hazard either to the future residents of the project or to the community at large.
Okay. And then in terms of the community outreach, can I ask you a few questions, Tina? Thank you, that was very helpful, Dave. And so can you just repeat again, so how extensive again was your community outreach, if you can just elaborate on that a little bit more in terms of the groups and how long you've been working on this?
Sure. We started working with neighborhood council, planning and land use chair from the get-go. So we started, I would say, early part of 2017. We had multiple meetings with the land use committee chair, and then subsequently the full neighborhood council vote. The Planning and Land Use Committee granted us a support letter after multiple meetings. We also did two Saturday on-site special events for the community and the residents to come out and meet with us, understand what our plan was, what our housing project was. So we actually set up a booth and a tent on-site, and we invited all of the local neighbors, including many, by the way, who came and spoke on our behalf and support, ultimately. I think Mr. Robbie is kind of the specific individual kind of remaining from that group, but we got strong support from the rest of the residents that we had been working with for over a year and a half. We also did, as I said, the CD13 and LAPD site walk, which is part of kind of community outreach and public safety, relevant to public safety on site. So we then set up a consensus planning 800 number. So we actually got a 800 number set up as well as a website set up for ongoing information about the project and what the entitlement project is. So there's been, I would say, over a year and a half. I mean, I would have to go look at my records, but I mean, literally 150, maybe 200 hours spent on community outreach. So we are also continuing, as I said, to work with the neighborhood council. We expect to be meeting with her and her group and are presenting to them probably once every 2 months, if not distributing information about upcoming construction activity. So we fully intend to continue doing our outreach. I'm sorry, just to answer Commissioner Garcia's question about construction start. So the building has been demoed and it's been secured for site safety, and the site's secure and safe. We will be commencing, and I am in discussions with the neighborhood council, planning and land use. We will be commencing on-site grading within about the period is about 4 months, but that's on-site grading. So we're not doing anything in terms of infrastructure, street disturbances. Way before that even happens, I will be letting the neighborhood council and of course our consensus planning 800 number and website will be posted to let all the residents know about the upcoming disturbances on the infrastructure portion. But for the next 4 months, we're just doing on-site grading.
Thank you. That was incredibly helpful. And, in this particular part of town, CD 13, I think there's a lack of affordable housing everywhere, but, especially in the Koreatown area as well. So, and can you confirm again how many units? I'm sorry, I didn't take it down the first
It's
time.
221 units with 19 very low.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're not condo. These are rental.
Okay.
And we included, and this is a little too much information, we also included a healthy mix of 2 bedrooms as well as 3 bedrooms, particularly for expanded families who are really looking to kind of live in an urban environment. And currently, a lot of the product out there are studios and 1 bedrooms. So we actually created much more of a diverse kind of rental portfolio to really help people with families and kids who actually want an expanded apartment, kind of habitable room.
And just one last question. What would be the projected date that this apartment complex would open?
September 2021. 2 years, hopefully.
Got it.
Hopefully.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Having heard all of the testimony, both those concerns that were raised by constituents as well as the extensive process that this item has gone through with regard to the various city agencies, including the support of the Council District 13 office, I move that we accept this item. I have a second to my motion.
I just want to add something. Can the letter of support from the neighborhood council be submitted for the record? Thank you.
Second by Commissioner Caloza. And with that, that item is so ordered forthwith. Next, we'll go to item number 5. And I will read 5 and 6 into the record consecutively. Street closure condition corrective items, Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project, reference number Board of Public Works 2019-0641, and update on street closure, Metro Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project. Larry Sue.
Morning, Larry Hsu, Bureau of Engineering. These 2 items on the agenda, items 5 and 6, are kind of report backs related to the UG3 street closure that was approved by the board on August 9th. And so it's really a check back from Walshe and Metro as to making progress that is consistent with what they had planned, because the Taste of Seoul is near the end of this closure. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is a report back on continued progress towards corrective items that BCA had identified prior to the approval of the closure. Great. So with that, I invite Metro or
yes,
representative.
Absolutely. Report. Metro.
Sam Migueli, LA Metro.
Good morning, Sam.
So it's two issues. One is the closure, which I think is going very well. We received only one complaint about the noise, which the contractor addressed. And I would like to invite Eric Hickman. He's the project manager for Walshay, and he has more detailed update and pictures.
My name is Eric Heimke. I'm the Deputy Project Manager for Walshay. As far as an update on the street closure corrective items, at the last board meeting, we had 277 items of 426 closed out. At this time, we have 330 items of the 426 closed out. That's an improvement of 53 items on the list. So we're making progress, and we feel that we're heading in the right direction on that. As far as the UG3 street closure, we are currently in right about the middle of the schedule. We're about halfway done. We started on August 12th with everything. We finished our excavations on August 25th and the removal of all the existing piles in the area on August 25th. We opened the 63rd Street intersection right on time on August 28th with the paving in that area being completed for about 200 feet through the intersection. We've paved the remainder of that phase one just this past Saturday, so that all things in phase one are now completed. We were able to exit phase one with no request for information needed. We also had zero notice of non-compliance from ConAd in that phase one area. We are currently on schedule to pave phase two on September 13th, which is in about 2 weeks, and we'll begin excavating the piles in phase three on 9/16. So we feel that we are meeting our obligations and our schedule and doing what we need to do to make everyone satisfied with this area.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Colosa.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. I just had a quick question. So it sounds like the schedule is moving along that you guys anticipated. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is there any work that you're leaving unfinished that would require you to return?
No, ma'am. In fact, we've finished everything in the phase one right now, with including we have final approval on the storm drain line from BOE, and we have like I said, no notices of non-compliance that we'll have to go back and address later.
Okay. And maybe I can just have somebody from ConAd. Would you guys mind if I ask you guys a few questions as well?
Good morning. I'm Chris Cox with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
I just wanted to also ask you if, what you're seeing out on the field with your team, since I know me and Commissioner Garcia had gone out there, and I know that the progress wasn't where it should have been when we were out there a few months ago. Do you concur with what the contractor is saying about progress and timelines, and that, it's on time right now?
I do concur. We've seen quite a bit of progress out there, and I'm satisfied with the work as it's being corrected. What I would like to say for the record, my concern is there are still back-of-walk issues that were created due to the change in elevation, and I haven't seen progress on those, and I believe that's going to be a long lead item. So other than that issue, I think that we're moving along nicely. And with the closure items, we had some previous closure items that were incomplete, and they've actually completed 9 of, I believe, 22 of those items. So quite a bit of progress, and it looks good out there. But again, there are some design issues with the back-of-walk that need to be completed.
Okay. That's really good to hear that there's been a lot of improvement, since I know I had my concerns, and I think others did as well. And so the punch list is also moving along. I don't know if that was the same thing that you were referring to.
That's correct. That's the deficiency item list, 426 items.
How many again?
There were 426 items that were deficient in the sidewalk and the curb and gutter. They've completed 330 of those corrections.
Okay,
So that's major progress from what we had a year ago.
got it.
Great.
I could ask you, Mr. from Walshay, just a few questions. And so what do you anticipate the completion is for the rest of the deficiencies list for the sidewalk repair and other things on that list?
We were looking, if we continue on our current burn, it will be mid-October to the start of November to have those items done.
Okay. And remind me again, when is the projected completion date of this project again? That's okay. I don't know if Sammy knows?
Sorry, we said summer of 2020. So
Summer, oh, okay.
Yeah, around this time next year.
Okay, all right. And you'll be done by this October, you said, for the punch list? That's October 2019, right? Not 2020, right? Is that correct?
Yes, for the record, Metro committed to finish all the deficiency by year end.
Got it.
So
Okay.
he's ahead of us.
Okay, I appreciate that update. And thank you, Metro, and thank you to Walshay and Con Ed for all your work on this project.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Metro, as well, in particular for making sure that the coordination has resulted in considerable progress in this report. So I appreciate it. Hearing and seeing no other concerns on that item, I want to ask for the approval of the minutes from Friday, September the 6th, 2019. Second by Commissioner Garcia. And have we completed all the items on the agenda?
We do have two sets of minutes, President Pro Tem. We have the minutes for Wednesday, August 21st, and we also have the minutes for Friday, August 23rd. If you'd like, we can have a motion for the second set of minutes, or...
Right. Can we have a motion for the approval of minutes from Wednesday, August 21st, and Friday, August 23rd? Okay, moved by Commissioner Garcia and seconded by me, Commissioner Davis.
Okay, I will...
Have we completed all of the items on today's agenda?
Yes, you have.
Okay, having heard that, the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.